Hi everyone, Sherry here. Thanks for joining me today. Today I wanted to make a card using the new Winter Flowers by SSS Stamp. The stamp set also comes with the matching dies. And I'm going to use a piece of watercolor paper. This is the Ranger Tim Holtz watercolor paper. And some SSS Stamp Intense Black ink. And I'm going to stamp multiple poinsettias and leaves on the paper. And now I'm going to use my Mission Gold watercolors, and I'm just going to lay down some quick color on each of the petals of the flower. I'm not trying to do any shading at this point, just laying down a solid color of red. And I'm not going to go through the entire coloring process with you. I'm just going to do a few petals here, and then probably a couple of the leaves, and then do the rest off camera. So now I'm taking some green. I mixed up 3 colors, and I'm just plopping the color in on the leaves. So off camera, I'm probably going to do a few more coats over some of the petals and leaves, just to add a little bit of interest. So here you see I'm going to be using a Dynamics Merry Christmas die from MFT. And so now I cut that out of black, as well as I went ahead and cut the flowers and the leaves out with their matching dies. So I cut the Merry Christmas 3 times, and I left one of them in the paper. And I learned this trick from Amy R. over at Prairie Paper and Ink, and it makes stacking the it makes stacking the die cut words so much easier when you leave one of them in the cardstock. So I'm just using a little bit of glue pen and coating the back, and then I'm stacking them all together. So 3 layers in all. So now that I have that finished, I'm going to pop these out of the black cardstock, and I'm using my quick stick to kind of help me get those apart. So there I have the word Christmas. And you will see that the M is separate from the word Mary, but that's okay. We'll just lay it side by side when we go to put it on our card. All right. Now that we have those cut out, I'm going to get a card base. It's the standard A2 card. And I am going to start working on my layout. And if you've watched any of my other videos, you know I piddle with this and piddle and piddle. I actually cut some of this part out because I kept arranging and rearranging and arranging and rearranging. So I just didn't want to bore you with all of that. So I'm going to do it once here. And I'll probably change it up for the final version. And then I'm going to bring over my longest word because I want to put the words in the lower right corner. And so now I decided I would use that negative piece and use it as a guide, move my flowers over a little bit more to the left. And now that I've decided, I'm going to go ahead and commit. I'm going to get my Tombow, and I'm going to glue the bottom flower and the top flower down with my Tombow. And I am going to leave it hanging over the edge just a little bit, but we can trim that off later. And because this is watercolor paper that was totally saturated, the flowers did warp a little, so I'm going to use a clear block to try and flatten those out on my card. So still messing with the arrangement here, and now I'm going to commit the second time with the top flower. You cover the back with Tombow and press it in place. I'm going to put a clear block on that one as well. And then I'm going to get some foam tape. Well, no. First I'm going to put my leaves down. I'm sorry. I have put foam tape on the back of that center flower. And now I'm going to go ahead and use the Tombow to attach all of my leaves. So I'm going to put one in the upper corner, and then I'm going to put two more underneath that middle flower. And then I will adhere that center flower using the foam tape. Okay, I'm going to lightly press that down just in case I want to change my mind. And then I'm going to put the last two leaves on using the Tombow. And you will notice that I did the flowers in odd numbers. There's three of those. And I did the leaves in the odd number of 5. Your odds are always more pleasing to the eye. So I'm going to let those sit for a few seconds to make sure that they grab. And then I'm going to turn it over and I'm going to trim off the excess. And I'm totally out of camera there. So you will see on the back there I got a little bit of oozing from too much Tombow, but I'm going to use an adhesive eraser here and just get that off. And next I'm going to use my glue pen again to put the Merry Christmas on, and I'm using that negative piece to help me line up the Merry over the Christmas. And I'm going to attempt to put the M in and lift the negative piece over it. And then I can just straighten that up a little bit. And I'm brushing off some of those little stragglers that you get sometimes from cutting the paper, and you have those little fuzzy edges. So I'm just using a dry brush to brush those away. And don't forget to go grab the dot for your eye. And now I will add the rest of the Merry the same way. A little bit of glue pen. and then pop that down beside the M. And I'm sorry I pulled that off camera again. So now we basically have all of our elements on the front of the card. And I'm going to use my gel pen, and I'm just going to put a few dots around the black dots that are part of the stamp. And this just gives it a little something. I did this once before on the spring flower set, and I really liked the way that it looked. So I'm only going into those areas that already have the dotted lines. I suppose I probably could have done this step prior to sticking the flowers down on the card, but it's okay. It's I'm not having any trouble even with this center one that's popped up on the foam adhesive. So just a couple more to go. And while I'm finishing up with the white dot detail, I want to remind you that all of the supplies I've used to make this card are in the video description below, as well as on my blog. As always, I thank you so much for stopping by. If you like this video, please give me a thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe. Thank you so much, and I hope you have a wonderful and blessed day. Bye-bye.